In about 5 minutes, so if you'd like to take your seats in a relaxed and orderly fashion, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
I am a short story writer, a screenwriter, and a novelist. Oh, how did I get into writing? Well, I didn't plan on being a writer. I went to study pharmacy at university, and after qualifying and working as a pharmacist, realised that I needed some form of creative outlet. I'd always kind of gone through life just being fine what it's like to really enjoy what you do. I nearly didn't apply for a New Writers Award, but it was a friend who had kind of taught me and I submitted, not thinking that I was going to. Winning a New Writers Award just gave me the confidence that I needed to continue. I think it was a validation. And then obviously the programme is just so well structured. I got a mentor. That was really invaluable to me. I knew they're just emerging, and they do sometimes need people that didn't exist.
Yeah, you can applaud. You can applaud. You can do better than that. Thank you. Hello. Novel kept me up till about 3 a.m., so I've not really forgiven her, but she's nice, so she can get away with it. I'm Heather Parry, and I am going to be your MC for the evening, and we'll try and keep it as non-raucous as possible, but I can't make any promises, don't mind me saying. If there's a natural disaster happens in the Roxy this evening, Scottish books will be much worse off, I think. So let's try and avoid that if we can. No tsunamis, no earthquakes, no anything else. I'm also very happy to see... Oh yeah, give them a round of applause. Yeah, it's so nice to see you guys in particular out here supporting like the next generation. Tonight, we have 11 fantastic, shining new talents to read for you. I've heard a little bit of their readings, but not too much, so I'm super, super excited. But first, let me tell you who has made tonight possible. Supporting authors to realize their potential is so important to the Scottish Book Trust. In these challenging times for funding, that we all know about, I'm sure, the awards wouldn't happen without vital financial support from several funders. The William Grant Foundation, yes, there's a lot, and Dr. David Summers Charitable Trust, the Badenoch Trust, and Callan Gordon's family for their support. Let's give it up for the funders, please. Tonight's showcase event is generously supported by Hampton & Co., and we're very grateful to them. I know we're going to have a few words from Mark in a few moments. This is quite the list of funders, as you've heard, but it's still not enough to secure the future of the awards in full. Scots across Scotland a reality, and as a writer, I can tell you they are so important to the health of Scottish literature. If you'd like to find out more about donating to Scottish Book Trust, please scan the QR code. Oh, this is so tech. There's a QR code on the leaflet on your seat, and you can just scan it and give us some money. That'll feel very exciting, won't it? Each year, Scottish Book Trust works with some of the most exciting new writing talent in Scotland through the New Writers Awards programme. The writers are chosen from hundreds of entries, and the 2023 judges Matthew Fitt, Victoria McNulty, Tawana Sittall, and Holly McNish. Scottish Book Trust works in partnership with the Gaelic Books Council to provide 2 additional places on the programme for writers working in Gaelic. We also run the Callan Gordon Award every 2 years. But what do these lucky people win? Well, they get £2,000 cash. Yes, cold hard cash, we love that. As well as a tailored professional... I've been telling these guys about the baking at Moniac Moor and how much weight they're going to put on in a week. Beautiful. They also receive training in performance, press, in Schuster, Harville Secker, Bloomsbury, and HarperCollins. No pressure, guys. No pressure. They've also achieved wonderful things, including the Costa First Book Award, the Manchester Fiction Prize, and a shortlisting and longlisting for the Man Booker Prize. It marks the 15th anniversary of the New Writers Awards. So before we get going tonight, I'm going to invite the lovely Mark from Hampton & Co., our sponsors of this evening, to say a few words. Give him a huge hand, please.
Thank you very much. I realise you're not here to hear a banker speak, so I'll be short and sweet. We at Hampden Bank are delighted to sponsor this event tonight, and in a minute, well, we are a small but beautifully formed little private bank based in Charlotte Square in Edinburgh. We also have a sub-office in London, but we'll keep that quiet for tonight. And we are a private bank who look after high net worth individuals, their families, and their related businesses. We've been going for 10 years, independent, have a cup of coffee and talk to them, which might not catch on, but it's a bit different from other banks who are closing branches, sending you to call centres, or do-it-yourself in internet banking. So we'll see. Why we're delighted to sponsor this is because this is good business sense for us. We depend on Scotland being a great place to people to live, to work, and to bring up their families. And one of the ways you make Scotland great is having a vibrant art scene. And we want to support a few authors, and we've got a few clients here tonight who are avid devourers of arts. And so they're looking forward to hearing tonight the next Ian Rankin, the next J.K. Rowling, the next Mal McDermott. And I'm sure they want to be able to say, I was there when they first spoke, and I knew they were going to be a superstar. Almost like being at the Beatles' first concert. So, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mark. We are so grateful for the generosity that makes tonight possible. Gordon's, she can really rock a place. So let me tell you how tonight is going to go. We're going to have 3 groups of writers, and we're going to have readings from each. We're going to have 15-minute breaks in between, because I know you'll all want to have a pee and get a drink and maybe smoke a cigarette. I probably shouldn't have said that. We've got 2 bookstores at the back. We've got Lighthouse Bookshop and the Gaelic Books Council. Give them a wave. Hello. Of new writers, alumni books. Oh my God, there's some great titles in there. I'm so jealous of that. Raffle tickets. We're doing a raffle. Raffle tickets can be purchased at the Scottish Book Trust stall next to the bookstores. Give us a wave. There's a spine out of at the end. I'm really excited about this. We've also got copies of the new writing sampler available, and you might have them on your table as well, or on your seat. They are beautifully pink. Can someone lift up a sampler for me and wave it in the air? Look at these. This actually have a DJ. Yes, thank you. Until 11 p.m. And I've seen some of you people dance, and I want to see your moves this evening. So get nice and excited. But the most important thing you can do for me tonight is to give your vocal, borderline aggressive support for our brilliant writers. So let's have a brief practice. Give it up for our writers tonight. That was pretty good, but I've seen some of you people at parties, and I know you can do better. Let's give it up for our wonderful writers. I only want you to get louder and more rowdy as the night goes on, please. Creative writing from the University of Stirling, and is a Scottish mountaineering creative. His fiction is featured in publications such as Northwards Now, Tangled Web, Wild Blood, Southlight, and Pushing Out the Boat. His poetry has seen him commissioned by the SPL, the Scottish Poetry Library collection Sleek It. In 2023, he won the Wigton Poetry Prize for Scots and the Badenoch Prize. Please welcome Craig to the microphone.
Good evening. I'm going to read from my novella in Scots and English, The Laddie in the Mirk. In this extract, the main character, Jean, goes out looking for the boy that she's seen in the middle of the night. The main road now, a muckle lorry roars past. She wonders if she can flag it down to ask for help, but before she can, it flees by. The ghost near knock. Let his mother find him. She'll be frantic. Or maybe no. Outrals. Foreign even. Know that it matters. A bairn's a bairn. She canna go on hame. Caw canny. Canny fa. Canny end up back at the doctor's. Mere ills, mere pills. No on his ain with the things of the derk. Hurchins and flichtermooses. Beasties. Ghasts. Folk like our laddie, Thomas, say there are nae ghasts. They dinna ken. She kens the deed never leave. The past swirls around us aisle. Where does the laddie bide? Where does he hide? Caw out, caw like a craw. Voice weak, puggle, lost in the murk, as quiet as a moose. There's a moose loose, but it's out the hoose, she thinks. A rain hoose, just a dark shape a hinter now, another shade. On and on. That's all you can do. All there is. Keep going. Over the road there's an old garage. Jocks for years, of course. Aye out, washing and polishing his money else. Like aughtin else. A breeze flaffs at a tarpaulin. Then a sound that doesn't belong. there by the wall. A sec shift it. A sec. Hands as still as she can, willing herself. Look. See. And there he hips into the road. Yon sound again. A kit on her way, a flocht her. And a whammo makes her stop, right on the white line in the middle of the road. She swithers like she stepped into a river that's hour deep, surely. The laddie holds out a hand. She keeps on. The light brightens. What is it? Yin mere step. Then the light dark. Thank you.
I'm very happy to hear whooping and also indeed age as a writer, and everyone looks like they want to kill you. And then afterwards they say, oh, it was wonderful, I was really brilliant like tonight. Without further ado, because you don't want to listen to me, I'm going to introduce our second reader. Dervla Johanna has been writing for as long as she can remember. She studied English and creative writing at the University of Dundee, receiving first-class honours, which is way better than I did. While in university, her writing often featured in the Magdalene, and in 2018, her short story, Baby Steps, was runner-up in Mother's Milk at Queen's University Belfast, graduating with distinction, oh my God, Suffolk, for the Ink Festival. Please welcome Dervla to the microphone.
The Nuisance of Fortune-Telling. It tells the story of Oisin, who has the gift of precognition when an unexpected client appears. Hurt. The voice in Sears Lounge. They were wounded in some emotional way. Bad breakups, love affairs, broken hearts. But this was different. He felt this hurt low in his gut, like his skin was about to be torn open. He forced himself to take a seat at the table, holding his head in his hands. Koch turned to him. Her expression, say anything. The door burst open. Standing on their doorstep, sit Oisin. Hurt. Erin Byrne. If Koch was worried about this client, she didn't show it. What are you here for? Love, death, love, death. When the internal nuisance was torn between answers, it liked to repeat itself over and over until Oisin had a migraine and his vision was full of auras. I was wondering about a friend of mine. Anya had faded a little, but not enough for him to trust Erin. He repressed a wince as Koch laid her hand on Erin's arm. The woman only smiled softly. I've been to see the other seers about it, Erin added. The Dergs. Their rival. That the most notable members of the Dergs were household names in this part of the province. The Dergs won't like us taking their business, Koch said. The pain in Oisin's skin intensified. He had to look down to make sure there was no blood on his shirt, stealing customers, and set fire to a local school as revenge. I have information for you, Erin urged. The night Anya died, I saw something. The McLaughlin murders. Oisin froze. His hand shook.
Thank you so much, Dervla. That was fantastic. In the sound check, she performed all the whispered parts of that all together, and it did sound like an incantation. So if we have been cursed here, this Eloise Birtwhistle's poetry has been published in New Writing Scotland, Dyslexia, Gutter Magazine, Spam Zine, the Edwin Morgan Centre with distinction in her creative writing MLit from the University of Glasgow. I'm really going to develop some sort of inferiority complex on this stage tonight. In 2019, she was selected as a St. Mungo's Mirrorball Clyde-Bill Apprentice. She was a finalist of the 2019 Dyslexia and Poetry Book Society Women's Poetry Prize, that's a mouthful, the Survivor Arts Community and the Inverclyde Homeless.
I'm going to break the mic. Okay. Aha. You are placed on the out terraces. Your eyes are drying, throat to throat away from the hillside. No visitors come, but on a cliff top, plucked flowers and candles are left at a slate lime altar. Your bucket fills, your skin begins to burn and lag. Inside, you start to hear a constant. You do not hear the other patients, their buckets or their huts. You do not hear your organs slowing or the crackle of a wick blackening to its base. When it's over, bodies are not removed, but. And the second poem that I'm going to read is called Shooting the Modeller's Corpse. And this poem's kind of thinking about a whole series of different fashion. And I'm going to read it twice to kind of reflect the shape that it is on the page, which is sort of in 2 columns. Within minutes, all of her functions fade. Bacteria work through her, ferment her sugars. Her skin tightens, drips black into an alkaline bath, a solution that reduces molecules to atomic silver, and the latent image materializes. The image is contained, submerged, agitated. The solution is dumped, replaced, agitated. The image rinses and dries. Within minutes, her skin, the dark room, drips black, moves as underneath it into an alkaline bath. Self-digestion spills open cells, a solution that reduces capillaries, collapse molecules to atomic silver, all of her and the latent image. Functions fade, materializes back with gas, becomes the solution, is dumped, marbled, blistered, replaced, agitated, eventually rips in release. The image rinses and dries. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Eloise. That was amazing. There's a few readings tonight that reference death or corpses, and I want you to know that I did not put them up to making these particular choices, even though it is 100% my vibe. They did it all themselves. Our fourth reader this evening is Sonali Misra. She's an author, an editor, a literary magazine co-founder, and a PhD researcher and lecturer in publishing. Born and raised in Delhi, India, Sonali's short prose has appeared in Scottish, Canadian, and Indian anthologies. Her non-fiction book, 21 Fantastic Failures and What Their Stories Teach Us, was published in 2020. She was awarded the National Library of Scotland's Fresh Ink Prize and a place at Gothenburg's UNESCO City of Literature Writing Residency. Her work has been shortlisted for the Wigton Book Festival's Anne Brown Prize. Please go wild.
Hello, everyone. I'll be reading an excerpt from my young adult fantasy novel set in contemporary India, titled Asra. Chapter 8, Vic. Kiara's eyes light up at the sight of her home, and Vic shifts uncomfortably in his seat while parking the car. Fucking dogs. Why does he lose any semblance of intelligence at the mention of dogs? They should not have come here to retrieve hers. He's only making it worse by leading her to a home she can never return to. How? How will her house bring her any comfort if it's a graveyard of who she once was and can never again be? A security guard at the marbled apartment reception shoots to his feet to salute a determined Chiara leading the way. Vic follows a few paces behind. The holstered gun beneath his denim jacket brushes against his ribs reassuringly. The guard slides a register towards Vic to sign in, or does the guard look at the pair of them with a suggestive quirk of the mouth? Ugh, pervert. As Chiara presses 10 in the lift, Vic wonders whether he's leading her to her death. Surely they can still turn around when the lift doors open and she marches to her flat entrance. No trace of forced entry, and the door looks harmless enough. As her key scrapes against the lock, a heavy bark echoes from within, and her hand freezes. Rico never barks when he's by himself, she murmurs. Vic's old instincts kick in. He reaches for his gun and pushes Chiara behind him. Another loud bark, more urgent this time. He curses under his breath and directs his next words to her. Call the lift. Chiara. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Sonali. That was really fantastic. This is great for me because I get to stand here while you all applaud and pretend I've done something to justify that, whereas really I'm just stealing it all from you guys. Now we've warmed ourselves by the bright fire of literature. Oh, look at that, that came out. Now that we've got all nice and toasty, I feel like it's time for another drink. What do you think? Yes, okay, we're gonna take 15 minutes, go to the bar, go buy some books, warm yourself, chat, mingle. We'll meet you back here in 15 minutes. Please give a huge thank you to our first readers. please do take your seats, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try not to honk into the microphone again. I realize that was quite an odd way to bring you back to your chairs, but it worked. Has everyone got a drink? Has everyone made a new friend? Has everyone bought a book? These things must be achieved before the evening is over. You rabble at the back, come and take your seats. Oh, I love when a hush descends without me really making a hush descend. It makes me feel powerful. Maybe I'll also do an incantation like we had in the sound check. Thank you so much, guys, for taking your seats. As we launch our second set of readers who are behind me, looking hopefully, SPT's Director of Program, Rosemary Ward, is going to introduce the first of our two Gaelic New Writers awardees. Please welcome Rosemary to the stage.
Here tonight to offer some immoral support to Heather, not that she needs any support from me. I feel that I should start by apologising to you because I went round to see my mum this afternoon before I came through to Edinburgh, before I got the train. And she took one look at me and she said, "You're not going to Edinburgh dressed like that, are you?" And I said, "Yeah, Mum, I am." And she said, "You can take the girl from the croft, but you can't take the croft from the girl." Gahan don lewin machinain. But don lewin the of missile mater agus scialachan, gus in the hemnich na hitcher bieolas. Egan je chickas gnian akamse eli skrivi hoe da came meistrach a hoek boy vorid. Hadden we glis de green of a gush uuretje, wat du is gal. Don Lewin McKinnon, who hails from Scalpay on the Isle of Harris, completed a master's degree in screenwriting of the BBC, leading to the formation of his own production company, Macanta Media, in 2021. In 2022, his debut film was shortlisted for a Royal Television Society Award and won the Audience Award 2023 and is currently on the film festival circuit. Please give a huge warm welcome to Don Lewin McKinnon.
Part of me wishes I went home for the lockdown, but my conscience got the better of me. And the other thing is that Hebrideans basically invented track and trace. They know you're going home before even you do. So I returned there in the same way that I... The hiki Gaeli, be traag, haast honjoch rokrach, the Gaelic Gauri. Maar as sloe je wat na hat de kieris aan de schaar. Hij raak een gruas. Had je een ieske dieperschaf? Han dachkers er kishale gorst. Well, he shouldn't je runig gezat. Bidon je dorst aan de worsen. Kun je nak het banish wilma? En een sappers javaan, agus aan de worsen, wat uit je waking. Ha eentje vorige een buig aan een tochen, het eerst. Ha sjo kun heel. Ze moest gaan. Well, je dacht me je gezat, hè? Sma huis ook kerst, ga niet. Ha soelen vorige een tuchtje maar ze gaan. Kun je hoors me zien? Hoors je nach een interesse biach aan de nieperst? Wat me kiel toch nach een lisach dat je houden? Oei, hikkie, kroei, eking en tuigie. The minister won't stand any gossip, but his wife, well, when she visits, she beaches, says Murdo, his words desperately attempting to rise above the creaking of the cottage and steer the conversation from the dark path it has taken. The firelight flickers across Auntie Flora's weathered face as she leans in. The sooner they get what they want, the better. She declared ravenous killer whales, they don't want revenge. Well, there's only one way to find out, isn't there? Then we can all move on. Remember Wilma's wedding, just one brawl, and then the rest of the night turned out just very nice. Murdo's plea emerges from a swell of trauma. This is madness. It's basically murder. What? When did I say that? You said they don't want revenge, replies Auntie Flora. I meant they don't know what it is. They're hungry animals, nothing more. And what happens when they start eating tourists?
What great reading. Thank you so much. And Rosemary, I think you're dressed lovely. Don't listen to your mother. In fact, I've got to say that everyone here is dressed impeccably this evening. And as someone who lives in Glasgow, I don't really like to say nice things about Edinburgh audiences. But you're all looking wonderful, and it's so nice to look down on your faces from here. Our second reader is a poet, translator, and editor. She's the editor of Beaufoy, which she coached me in the pronunciation of. Thank you, I don't speak French. She has published a work of translation, penned. Her work has appeared in Almost Island, Hotel, Interpret, 3 AM, Indian Quarterly, and the Charles River Journal, among others. Her work has been anthologized in collections such as Singing in the Dark, University of Edinburgh. Please give it up for Meda.
Good evening. Good evening. Thank you for being here. I'll be reading 2 poems tonight, and they all seem to be about wanting to return to a simpler self. After. I held you under open heat by a river that warmed and curved in the distance. It sloshed beneath trains in that strained society. Our dawns taper, turning gelatinous within the deep grammar of love. I peppered these quiet words for you across the marmalade dusk, and now you stand in a field within my solitude. Find muster for the new babe. The grass glitters. Daisies quiver in their windy groove as you begin to remember our time. I could not gather you up, knowing your nose, your tongue might find another, snug in the air, coiling our concrete past, that now cracks around the waists of women. You think you finally purer time, as error and ghost still coring your chest, stubborn, unmoving. Another life. I'm writing love on a serviette as mourners gather on a mound for the disgraced dead, still in grave clothes underfoot. Suddenly, slow pianos sing in air, the shifting earth moving its cadavers to an ache in the ocean. Here they are, rakes reborn as willows, contorted into pains they do not recognize. Bad men become trees. The earth forgives them, as do I. They begin to give. The wicked also dream of love. It's evening. Overhead, jinkos have flared against sun. Evening over tarmac, evening beneath lorries where dogs huddle for warmth, and for miles on end, the quiet noise of town. And at the end of the last mile, me, pouring this syrup on a napkin. Things I cannot say yet. Oh, pianos. Oh, love. How we begin to open under black water. Thank you.
That was absolutely gorgeous, wasn't it? Thank you so much, Meda. As the writers in the audience will know, it's no small thing to stand up in front of such a full audience and read your own work, and our readers are making it look, love them. We're almost keeping to time in some kind of miracle. So in that spirit, I will move on to our third reader of this section. Hannah McDonald is a writer. Oh, someone's got a fan club. Hannah McDonald is a writer and English teacher from the south side of Glasgow. Yes. She graduated with distinction in 2021 from the MLit in creative writing at the University of Glasgow. Her writing focuses on relationships, identity, and concepts of place and belonging. Hannah is also interested in fictionalizing oral histories of working-class communities in the west of Scotland. Her work has been featured in publications such as Gutter, Spamzine, The Common Breath's Middle of a Sentence, Epoch Press, and New Writing Scotland. Please welcome her to the mic.
1970s. In this extract, psychiatric nurse Ruth meets a new patient for the first time. Grace arrives just after 2 o'clock and is wheeled into the ward in a chair. Her eyes are dark and empty. Whichever sedative she's been given is clearly doing its job. Her husband introduces himself to us as Dr. Blackburn. He looks a fair bit older than his wife, at least late 40s. He has a full head of greying hair and a clean-shaved, round face, dressed in a brown suit with leather elbow patches. He seems fairly chipper, considering the gravity of the situation, waving hello to everyone, stays where he is, smiling indulgently at the nursing assistant as she laughs at his jokes. Grace doesn't respond when I say her name, doesn't look at me or even seem to notice I'm here. "I'm going to put you to bed now, Grace," I tell her, pulling the fresh sheets back. She's wearing linen trousers and a soft white shirt. Her dark hair has been pulled back into a ponytail. Having evaluated her clothing, I decide she can be put into bed without needing to be changed. However, I do take the tightly wound bauble out of her hair and brush my fingers through it. "You've got lovely hair, Grace. It must have been of the tightness of her ponytail. Are you comfortable enough?" She doesn't move, makes no sound. "If having your hair down's annoying you, soft braid." She stares at the bed in front of her, and though she's mute, I get the sense that she really wants to lie down and go to sleep. "All right, let's get you into bed." I support her under her arms to stand up, and can feel how thin she is under her loose clothing. Standing now, she attempts to shuffle forwards, but it's excruciatingly slow. I place my hands on her waist to keep her steady. Her ribs are thrumming against her skin. I help her turn around, and she sits down heavily onto the stiff, starchy pillow as I pull the covers over her. For the first time, I look at her properly. Her face is round, tanned, lightly freckled, but temporarily sunken and dry-looking. Nonetheless, I can see how beautiful she is. Her skin is clear, not a spot or blackhead in sight. I wonder if she uses those expensive face creams you see in House of... As I look at her, she closes her eyes, slowly reaches down and pulls the sheet over her body until only her face is visible. Within seconds, her breathing becomes deep and even, and I know...
Much deserved hooping and hollering there. Thank you so much, Hannah. Some of you look like you need the toilet. So we're going to have a secondary break. Is that offensive? I don't think it is. There's a look to someone. A book. Wavers at the book things. You can do whatever you want to, but be back here in 15 minutes. And before you go, please give a huge hand to our second set of readers. warning, please take your seats in an orderly fashion. Thank you. The bookshop. School teacher. I lack the kind of gravitas to make people to sit down quickly. Please take your seats. And final section of this evening. You can be more audibly disappointed. Welcome to the third and final section of... What a wonderful evening we've had. I'm just going to let the last, I'm not going to say straggle, a non-devastating turn of events. We get to...
Thank you, Heather. I laughed when I heard Don Lewin talking about track and trace in the Western Isles, because we also define age, in milestones in the Western Isles as well. I don't live in Scalpy or Harris. I'm further south. I'm in the Southern Isles, South Uist. And usually soon after Uisha you reach Uisha Frostbeak. And a prospect is a telescope, but really loosely translated has a window without a set of binoculars lying on them so that you can monitor the comings and goings of every car that goes down the road, or every tourist, or whoever's calling. Saw that Morak was visiting you yesterday. How did you know that? Oh, the prospect, So always to hand. So thank you for reminding me of that, Dolan. Go you. That's not what I'm here for. Am geiriad a fáilte chuid Edinburgh scríbit ar ac yn ymloch. Ha Robbie McLeod na scríbit ar am nimitach mian, scríbe gorain, rosc, bartach drama, agus gemichin na misc. Am yn da files y fichet, fe na bart edd fwyncherus ag stanza, feisiet ar nasiant yn y bartach. Chosin yn laf scríbin ege y misc lwyr yn bew, Dúis líchtrachas na Gaelic son láb scríbin neo eilsichte an da vílese fichet sa ga. Chain láb scríbin cúteach go bhálag le bríomhan an dúis bartach Edwin Morgan. Lorach ar a húr an níris le taich fo uris Edwin Morgan rinne iriseachta jitter hengachíon Gaelic dan Edwin Morgan. Na neach queer. Ha Robbie and Dras that goped the head cruniach the vartach on the Gaelic agus beurle. Robbie McLeod is a writer working in Gaelic and Robbie McLeod is a writer working in English and Scottish Gaelic in numerous forms, songwriting, and in 2022, the manuscript for his first poetry collection, A Miss Glorin Bell, won Best Unpublished Manuscript at the Gaelic Literature Awards. It was also highly commended in the Edwin Morgan Poetry Award. His work is featured in Gutter 404 Inc., New Writing Scotland, and Stjål, amongst others. Now, with backing from the Edwin Morgan Trust, he produced a zine of Gaelic translations of Edwin Morgan's poetry. His work explores queerness, anti-colonialism, feminism, and play. Please give a huge warm welcome to Robbie McLeod.
Feskerma Acharchan. I'll talk a wee bit in English at the start because both my poems are going to be in Gaelic. Although the first of them, there is an English version of in the sampler. I feel a bit like a school teacher. If you turn to page 100, you will find the required reading for the class. So this first one, well, the translated title in the sampler is Fairy Tale. Latin mar rumanen, ilúbig, chagaf slaurian ar giúlain. Canichrium sliev, sawing as buaiche. Or, hatáisich yn acum nach gaf uasglich ach y fain le sgil da hengi. Mar sin, gian iberstrum. Kleinium dord na féinje vod wielen. Gebi corische hou janu eurig lish kurstat nat viel. Jan roomse. Kan ich room gebok rische voki, ge kienjach ze habot zijn jach. Is immer uit de kiesing, is immer uit de close, zijn tai weg ieski, aunte eloei, ver mi gru, is lav en uachger goed. Thank you. Aviles 43. Haunen Zion fevorst. Aan ze vonnig rio ruig, hanne apartment skettichtje. Krave ve kumam alive, gam a sturig rigach ferju. Shalov Uncle Robbie, shal is eiche haune chacht luarn. Ha uilch gam a hachgig een eiche. Is neoch as ure vo Gaza, maar webel ha Callan is spreig ek een neoch. Het tashbenig nan clown marav, is le varav, is lehen jechlaun. Saloch le ful, is is spruljach, en parenten kei, is bommichen, is Israel hospital likal. Hospital agus skal. Ivach Marialri. Fianishich if na passion marave is catcheriv enoch masuringev clown. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Robbie. That was wonderful. Oh, what a beautiful singing voice. Oh, my word. Gorgeous. Has anyone else? We all know who's the favorite here this evening. Our next reader is Alessandra Tom. She is a Scottish writer from Aberdeenshire. Her debut novel is forthcoming from Berlin in spring 2025. Give it up for debut novel, please. Her short fiction has appeared in Gutter. She holds an emelet with distinction in creative writing from the University for Alessandra.
Hi, I'm Alessandra, and this is an excerpt from a short story called Thicker Than Water. Paula has been counting the ways someone can die on a boat. Drowning, obviously. Then there's breaking your spine or hitting your head before. Starvation, floating, lost on a lifeboat, unable to even muster up the energy to eat your own leg for survival. Paula is up on deck, in black, then grey again. The ferry pitches to and fro. Neve pretends she is not scared of the blood dripping into the toilet bowl. Paula pretends she is not scared of heights. The ferry left Aberdeen around. You could get murdered, Paula thinks, but that could happen anywhere. You could crash into one of the thousands of wind turbines which shift in the distance like hungry fish. She wants to run downstairs and show Neve them, but Neve's face was grey when she ran into the loo, and also Neve told her not to go up on the deck without her because she didn't want to miss anything. But if Neve doesn't know she's missed anything, has she really missed anything? If Paula's up on deck without Neve, but Neve isn't around to see, is Paula really up on deck? Paula thinks that question about the tree falling is stupid. They did it in RMPS along with a bunch of other equally stupid questions that she can't remember now, but she remembers this one because it fucked her off so much. Of course it makes a fucking sound. It's a fucking massive tree. And just because there are no people around to hear it doesn't mean there isn't anything else that can hear. She bets the birds and the ants and the squirrels living in the tree made a fucking sound when it fell. She bets they heard it fall too. If your fucking house fell down, Mr. Patterson, I bet you'd hear it fall. And what was it that made the tree fall? Whatever that was would have made a sound too. Even lightning makes a sound. It just takes a while. But Mr. Patterson told her she couldn't know for certain, that it was a great philosophical question and that there was no definitive answer, which was what made it so interesting. Paul, a warning for this, but not sent out of class, which she was pretty pleased about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alessandra. I cannot wait to read that debut novel now. As someone from a small town in Yorkshire, it is an honor for me to introduce our next reader. Henry Coles grew up in a small village in Yorkshire, like all the best people. He moved to Scotland over 20 years ago and lives in Edinburgh with his partner and children and works as a computer programmer. Henry didn't begin writing until his 40s, becoming inspired by the books he'd read to his children. His first completed book, The Cipher Engines, was shortlisted for both the Times Chick, the Bath and Wright Mentor Children's Novel Awards. Please welcome Henry to the mic.
Hi, I'm Henry, and these are the opening lines of my first book, The Cipher Engines, a upper middle grade story. Hidden in the half-darkness was a shape that did not belong. The candle by her bedside had wasted while she slept, so she felt blindly in her drawer for another, then fumbled with a match until there was light. Her blankets regained their colours as the glow moved over them, but the shape remained stubbornly black. It moved a little and revealed itself. A bird, a crow. Ada's heart raced, but she did not quite drop the candle. It would be foolish to be afraid of a bird, so she told herself she was not afraid, and her heart slowed a little. "How did you get in?" Ada asked. The crow cocked its head and stared at her. "You invited me," it said. Ada kept perfectly still and rubbed at an eye with a free hand. It was some small hour of the morning. She was tired and must be hearing things. The crow must have flown in earlier when her bedroom window had been open. Perhaps it was the sound of the bird that woke her. "Don't worry, I'll let you out," she said. The crow cocked its head again and managed to look somehow amused. Ada opened the window and pulled her dressing gown tight around her, as if in a shooing sound. It looked straight at her and spoke again. "I think you should sit down if we're going to talk," it said. "You must want some company, or you would not have invited me." There were no squawks or calls, and its beak did not seem to move at all. Ada could not ignore this a second time, and her breath caught at the thrill of something magical. "There's no such thing as magic," said the talking crow. Ada shook her head, not ready to. "You don't need to worry. I will not hurt you." "I know," said Ada, and somehow she did know. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Henry. I looked out at you guys and you were in the palm of his hand as he was reading that. There was a beautiful innocence in all of your eyes. And don't worry, it's gone now. Guys, it's happened. We've arrived, our last reader of the evening. That's better. You see, you can do it. But don't worry, because he is the BBC Words' first scheme in 2020. He has since taken his words to new audiences, and in 2022, he performed at Eden and Push the Boat Out festivals. In 2023, he performed at Hidden Door Festival. His writing is centered around experiences of growing up in the East End of Glasgow. His work is featured in the Scribblers Union Anthology and Retail Opportunity Zine by Speculative Books. Come on. Please, let's welcome Oliver to the microphone.
Right under your seat before anyone sees.
There's a lot of people here. I was trying to say my lines in my head just there. And I think I've got them all.
Wow, look at all these people. Look at that guy picking his nose. That's a belter. That's it, mate. Rub it right under your seat before anyone sees. Right. Time to do your poem. Wait, you do remember the words, right? Right. Don't panic. Think. That's it. Think. Ask the crowd for help.
Help!
Embarrass yourself.
This poem is called Which Space Is This? When I get to the last stanza, can someone raise their hand and take a guess which space it is? It'd be a big help. Is that all right? Is that all right? Which space is this? This space is mine. This space is warm. This space is quiet. My finger deliberately descends 14 times onto crusty keys. Watching daytime TV, 117, that's why I'm here, 116, right. Cut the shit. This is their space. My periphery tracks, illuminated by fiery sunbeams perched over the monitor, like a leopard focused on its prey. I see them in here a lot. In the mornings before I arrive, staying after I leave, they look frustrated at times, with a sigh and a frown. Prescribed stress, much like mine. I hope their hair remains intact, unlike mine, and they get what they deserve. This is the Moz space, to get out the house, even if it's for a few hours. To watch the wind grow and hear for other motherly moans. But this is the Wayne space too. To bounce and rhyme. But that's their space, no mine. This is the widow's space, where the free warmth of grieving souls is comforting, and chats about last waltz are listened to, over tea and biscuits. Partners remembered that Foxy's double cream was our Johnny's favourite. This is the attic space, where peers support each other through conversations, connections are made, and the violet rays in the lavy keep temptations at bay, while sponsors debate the game at the weekend. And up the back, thanks to the power of the plastic card. Thank you, and thank to the back. Cheers.
Round of applause to all of our readers this evening who have been so wonderful. Please give it up for them. I feel rejuvenated, electrified, giddy by the readings this evening. It's so nice to know that the future of Scottish literature is in such great hands. And speaking of a safe pair of hands, look at that, Professor at the helm, and Lindsay would love to, yes! Lindsay would like to say a few words, so please welcome her to the stage.
We receive from our funders and sponsors. So we'd like to say another huge thank you to Creative Scotland and Gaelic Book Council for their continued financial support. We would also like to thank the Garrick Charitable Trust, the Russell Trust, the William Grant Foundation, the Dr. David Summers Charitable Trust, and the Badenoch Trust for their crucial financial support. We'd also like to thank Callan Gordon's family again for funding an additional place on the programme. And an extra special thank you to Hamden & Co for sponsoring tonight's event. We're so grateful for your support. And this programme wouldn't happen without a huge range of brilliant partners that we work with. So we'd like to thank Moniac Moore for hosting the Writers' Retreat, Gaelic Books Council again for their valuable partnership, Society of Authors for membership and training opportunities. And I'd like to say a huge thank you to our wonderful judging panels for making a very tough decision. As you can imagine, an event like tonight is a huge collaborative effort. So I would like to say thank you to Assembly Roxy for hosting us and providing amazing support. I'd also like to thank my wonderful Scottish Book Trust colleagues for helping everything run so smoothly. I'd like to thank Sandy for running our live stream tonight. Lighthouse and Gaelic Books Council again for running our book stalls. There's still time to add to your book collections. I'd like to thank you. And finally, I would like to thank you, our lovely audience, both here in person and online, for joining us and supporting the writers. We really, really appreciate it. If you would like to find out more about the writers, you can visit our website, scottishbooktrust.com. But please join me in giving the 2023 awardees a huge round of applause again for their amazing readings.
Thank you so much, Lindsay. Lindsay and the team, I don't know if you've noticed, it's a difficult time for funding in the arts. I don't know if you've read the papers over the last 2 years. And SBT is always steadfast in its support, not just for new writers, but for writers at all stages of their careers. And I think we're so lucky to have them in this country, so please give it up for SBT. My final honor of the evening is, of course, to pick a raffle winner. And I believe a box is going to be brought to the stage. I know. Thank you very much to my glamorous assistant. Okay, we have a number and a name. We have a number 400, and that's Alistair C. Where's an Alistair C? Give him a round of applause. I don't have your prize, so I think you go in this direction. Or you can come here and have a round of applause and say a few words, tell a joke if you want to, it's fine. There's nothing more to say other than to thank you so good this evening. Please look them up, buy their books. Party, thank you so much.